What's up, guys? It's Monty and I'm back again today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Autobiography by Christina Loren, and I love it. Technically I read this book in April. I mentioned that in my May TBR video. Technically read it in April, but it's still one of my favorite books I've read of the year. It features, just a quick synopsis, it's the story of, his name is Tanner. Yes. We have Tanner, who is an 18-year-old. I think he's 18 the whole novel. He might have been 17 at the beginning, but I don't think he celebrated a birthday. We have Tanner. He is a former Californian who has moved to Utah. I think he moved there like 3 or so years ago. Going into his senior year of high school, his last semester of high school, and he decides to take this class where you have to write a novel in that semester. The character, Sebastian, was in the class the year before, and his book became like this big deal. He got a book deal. It's going to be all very fancy. And at the core of the story, it's a romance between Tanner and Sebastian, and the struggle that Sebastian has, and one, as a Mormon, and two, is just as a character who isn't out. And Tanner was an out and proud bisexual, but he hasn't really discussed any of that when he moved to Utah. So it's a contemporary young adult LGBT romance, and I have to say that it really melted my heart. Now, cons going into this book is like 400 pages, and I didn't think I don't know what I was expecting other than the synopsis I gave you. And so for like the first quarter of the book, the first 100 or so pages, I was sort of expecting maybe there to be something more, to be there like an added plot element, but there really wasn't. It really is the story of Tanner and Sebastian and Tanner's friend Autumn and how they're dealing with all of this. There's not a whole lot of stuff that goes on in this novel, and for the first 100 pages that was really a problem for me. It was the only problem I had the entire book. I do think that Tanner and Sebastian's relationship was depicted well. They were both legal adults, because Sebastian at this point in the novel is 19 and Tanner is 18, so we have healthy ages. And so the only problem I had was, like, I don't know if I'm really into this whole, like, it's literally just young adult contemporary romance. I don't know what I was expecting other than that, but once I got to like that 110 page mark or whatever, I was like, you know what, I'm okay with this, I'm signed up for it, let me go. And so after that 100 page mark, I was really enjoying seeing their relationship develop. And I think that their relationship did develop in a healthy way, in a way that made logical sense. It wasn't like they met, they fell in love, everything was hunky-dory. There were certain elements of it that were a little insta-lovey, that were a little like, you just met him, like, why are you so obsessed with him? Like, that doesn't jive well with me in any kind of romance I ever read, where I'm just like, you've known him for like 3 seconds. Like, could you please chill out a little bit? But I was captivated with the story. It only took me like a day to read it. Like, if I counted up the hours I spent reading it, it would definitely be less than 24 hours. And I do think that it wrapped up at the end nicely. I don't want to talk about specifics of their relationship in this video, because there's not anything to spoil really, because it is just the romance. So I don't want to just talk about any of the milestones, because you have to just read it. Like, there's not, the only thing I could talk about is their relationship, and I think that the only joy that's in this book is discovering that for yourself. And I do think that of the LGBT romances I've read so far at the point of filming this, so I've read Call Me By Your Name, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, The Dream Thieves has a gay character, Autobiography, I think. I liked how Call Me By Your Name is written. I did enjoy that story. Haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to get into it. But I think that Autobiography is my favorite. They have a nice healthy age difference between them. They're both in very similar places. The difficulties that they face are believable. They're portrayed realistically. And the ending just broke me. It was so perfect. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on this video. It's nice and short, which I know is not usual for me. It wasn't really so much a review or discussion as it was just me saying go read this book because I recommend it. If you have read it, I would love to get in comments. Feel free to go in, we can have a nice discussion. If you haven't read this, I definitely think that of stories that are written by women about gay men or bisexual men coming out and their struggles. I think this one is definitely better. If you enjoyed Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, I would recommend this. There isn't as much diversity, I guess, in this novel as is there, and I know people really sparked to that, but as a fan who wasn't a fan of that book, this doesn't have any of those weird elements that Simon did, like blackmail and that stupidness. So if you just want a nice, cute story, this is it. I have nothing more to say. I'm not going to keep going. Like I said, if you've read it, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to actually have a conversation with you guys about it. But until then, I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.